The UFC's 5 biggest superstars have all lost recently or got injured recently, and I actually think that that's a good thing. We'll talk about all 5 of them. We'll start out with Khamzat. He was dominant. He gets stopped by Strickland. We have Ilya, we have Alex, we have Conor, we have Sean O'Malley. All of these people have so much hype around them at one point in time. Obviously, it didn't all happen yesterday. But over the course of time, we have these stars that just shoot to the top. You know, off the top of my head, Sean O'Malley just explodes because he dyes his hair and he's kind of silly on the microphone. And we'll talk more about the microphone work later because I think that's an art that probably needs to be talked about a little bit more. And he was just a superstar because he was knocking people out. And I think you can't separate that from part of the stardom. If somebody's incredible on the mic, but is just losing, he's probably not going to shoot to superstar. You need the marrying of both. The ability to smack talk, the ability to knock your opponent out in an impressive fashion, or at least win. You have Khamzat that was stopped by Strickland. You have Ilya that was stopped by Gaethje. An incredibly wild outcome that most of us, if we're honest, did not expect to happen. Ilya was, he was practically I don't have words for it. Personally, I don't really like his character a lot of the time. But he had everything. He had the look, he was a handsome person, he knew how to dress, he knew how to act suave on the microphone. He was too arrogant. That was what bothered me about him. But his talent was undeniable. He gets stopped. So the UFC is losing Khamzat, who's on this massive win streak and just dominate, running over everyone. Although I think people do forget that Kamaru actually made it very difficult for Khamzat. But nevertheless, Khamzat is on fire. People are saying, oh my goodness, greatest of all time. You know, people are starting to talk like that. Goldfish, I tell you. Ilya is on top of the world. Alex Pereira, one of my, man, that guy, I did a documentary. Hey, go subscribe to my documentary channel. I did a documentary on him. I studied him for well over 6 months, probably maybe even 6-8 months. The guy's story is incredible. He starts off in the ghettos, in the favela. He was in San Bernardo de Campo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's Portuguese. He grew up in Brazil. He grew up with nothing. He was an alcoholic. He was drinking by the age of 14. I mean, this guy's story is incredible. He fights, he's an alcoholic before he can even, drive a car in this country. So the guy is struggling early on. He eventually beats the alcoholism in his 20s. He's a world champ, still struggling with it. But he eventually beats it, becomes an incredible kickboxer. And then you hear Israel Adesanya talking smack, and Alex goes, all right, I'll come over there too. Takes over the world with one word. One word, Alex takes over the world. That's all he says into a microphone. What a story. And I mean, the fans, you see videos of him walking outside and fans are chanting, tons of people. Conor McGregor, I don't need to go into that one. You guys know very well that he basically made this sport what it is. Thankful for the fact that he was able to create such a diverse and capable company that is able to, give a lot of people jobs and put on incredible fights a lot of the time. And then of course, Sean O'Malley, we talked about him a little bit. All these megastars, they're dealing with injuries. I mean, Alex is knocking somebody out with a broken toe, a broken foot. I think he knocked Yuri out. That head kick, I think his toe was broken at that point, or his foot was broken. So you have all these fighters, all of them have lost very recently. Very recently. I mean, in the span of, I don't know, not more than a year, right? Oh, I think every single one of those guys experienced a loss inside a year. So it's like you go from, you have all these undefeated, untouchable, huge superstars to all of a sudden, you're reminded that they're just a man. And that, I actually think, is a good thing. I love this sport. I love training. I loved training karate. Whenever I get to take martial arts class, it truly changes something in you when you're going toe to toe with someone and they're not trying to take your head off, but when you're sparring, man, it changes something in you. And the fact that the best of the best are taking losses shows you just how incredibly difficult it is to stay at the top in this sport. I think that's a good thing. You have a wave of wrestlers, you have a wave of strikers, this, that, and the other. But I think that provides color and intrigue to the sport. Now, the last thing I did want to talk about, I mentioned it briefly with O'Malley, smack talk. Okay, a lot of these people got to that level of stardom not only because they were incredible at knocking people out or finishing fights, but because they had a lot of people appreciating the work they did on the microphone. But I think there's a big but there. Conor, like him or don't like him, I didn't like him back in the day. I still don't like how he was, but there's no denying what he did. I don't like that brash, arrogant. I don't mind brashness, but when you're just cocky and it's like, dude, whatever. But to each his own. He's incredible in the octagon. It sounds like he's, turned his life around a little bit. Hopefully that's true. But there's no denying that that level of stardom was brought upon with O'Malley, with Conor, with, and I wanted to bring up Colby Covington. I know, you probably have not thought about that fighter in quite a long time. If you rewind the clocks back 5, 10, 15, Chael Sonnen was the king of the microphone. I mean, this guy had poems that he would recite in the octagon. This guy knew how to get under your skin. This guy knew how to put on a comedic bit and actually make it funny. What I appreciate about that is even if he rubs you the wrong way, he's doing it in a genuinely funny way. Whereas when you take someone like Sugar Sean, when you take someone like Colby, there's no artistry there. What they see, they're not able to replicate. They see, oh, this guy says crazy things. I'm gonna say crazy things, ha ha ha. No, you're not. You're gonna say dumb things that'll get people kind of talking, but nobody's impressed with what you say. The difference is when Conor did it, he was quick, his quips were either funny or at least accurate. When Chael did it, he knew how to just get under your skin and just really, you know, he knew how to analyze your character. When you have Colby, just, man, I mean, the lowest of the low insults, nothing creative. That's the difference. So a lot of these people are rising through the ranks because their skill in tandem with their ability to say ridiculous things. I think it's a good thing that there's constantly a movement in the rankings, a movement in matchups, a movement in who's at the top, because the storylines you get from that are incredible. Who would have thought that Justin Gaethje was gonna beat Ilia Topuria when Ilia Topuria was looking like that? When he was knocking out all of our favorites. Holloway, Gaethje, Volkanovski, he's tearing through everyone. Who would have thought that? And man, that just gets me excited. That's why I've never been a WWE guy. It's fake, it doesn't do anything for me. But when it's real, it's like, man, what a beautiful sport. It's hard to even call it a sport because these guys are going to war, but we'll talk more about the greatest sport in the world. Subscribe here, subscribe at my documentary channel. I did documentaries on Alex Pereira, Dustin Poirier, and a lot of other people. I'm pouring myself into these projects to hopefully bring you some value. We'll talk to you soon.